good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us from all around the world. On behalf of the Journalists and Writers Foundation, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to this important, at the same time, timely panel discussion entitled Being Human Again, Hope for Reconciliation. We are honored to organize this event as a part of the UN World Interfaith Harmony Week 2025. My name is Mehmet Kılıç. I am the president of the Journalists and Writers Foundation. It is an international civil society organization dedicated to the culture of peace, human rights, and sustainable development. As a nonprofit organization based in New York, we are proudly associated with the UN Department of Global Communications in our shared mission. I would like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Rajendran Govender and Ms. Nancy Falcon, our esteemed members of the JWF Interfaith Committee and Advisory Board members. Your invaluable dedication and support have been instrumental in bringing together this event, and we are deeply appreciative of your efforts. Additionally, I must extend my sincere thanks to our distinguished panelists, Rabbi Silvina Chemen, Professor Sumati Srini Vasalu, and Imam Ghazi A. We are eager to hear from your insights on the vital role of interfaith dialogue in promoting reconciliation, healing, and unity in our divided communities, drawing from your rich experience in Argentina, India, Italy, the United States, and beyond. As we celebrate the World Interfaith Harmony Week, our goal is clear: to unite, to collaborate, and to foster solidarity as we address common challenges. It is a critical time that we join our efforts in peace building and reconciliation through interfaith and intercultural dialogue. Now it brings me a great pleasure to introduce our wonderful moderators for today's discussion. Dr. Rajendran Govender is a dedicated advocate for social cohesion and a distinguished social anthropologist, currently serving as a member of the Cultural, Religious, and Linguistic Commission of South Africa. As an influential voice in promoting inclusivity and understanding, Dr. Govender regularly features on national TV and radio as a cultural commentator and a newspaper columnist. Dr. Govender continues to play a vital role in shaping cultural conservations in South Africa and beyond. Our next moderator is Ms. Nancy Falcon. She is a prominent expert in interreligious and intercultural dialogue. She is known for her dedicated efforts in promoting understanding and conflict resolution. She served as the executive director of Alba Intercultural Dialogue Center in Argentina, and she was honored as an international fellow at the KAICIID in 2020. With a passion for fostering dialogue among diverse cultures, she facilitates training sessions with young leaders and religious actors both in Argentina and internationally. Her work emphasizes the importance of dialogue in addressing conflict and building bridges across different communities. Both Ms. Falcon and Dr. Govender are my dear colleagues and my friends serving as the JWF Interfaith Committee and Advisory Board members. With that, please join me in welcoming Ms. Nancy Falcon and Dr. Rajendran Govender. It's over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mehmet. It's an absolute delight once again moderating this very, very important session, during World Interfaith Harmony Week. We would like to welcome the entire audience from different parts of the world. It's a global community to talk about very, very important, pertinent issues that affect our daily life. My fellow moderator is Nancy Falcon, and she's going to introduce the theme and its significance.
Thank you, Rajendran. Thank you, everyone that joined us, the audience and the panelists, and thank you for the Journalists and Writers Foundation to allow us to make this interesting panel. Now I want to introduce the topic of today's panel. It's an honor to welcome you to this webinar, the webinar that we wanted to call Being Human Again, Hope for Reconciliation. We choose this topic because we all know that today the very root of our humanity is being questioned. In our present world, we witness divisions, wars, hatred. It seems to darken the importance of values that unite us. The dehumanization and hate speech has become powerful weapons that are being used to divide us as a community. And in this context, religion must and can help us to understand, or maybe to rethink, what it means to be truly human. The spirituality and the sacred texts remind us our common origins. And interfaith dialogue, of course, is crucial to find a path for reconciliation. For all of this, we are here delighted to hear from the panelists, from different views, from different religions, of what is the path of reconciliation and hope. So we wanted to hear about this important topic. I give you the floor to Rajendran.
Yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, being human again, it's certainly a hope for reconciliation. And it's a very, very powerful call to reflect on what it means to rebuild trust, restore dignity, and renew our shared humanity in a world increasingly fragmented by conflict, prejudice, and misunderstanding. As we navigate this complex landscape, interfaith dialogue and reconciliation offer all of us a pathway towards healing. In many traditions, reconciliation is not just about resolving differences, but about fostering deeper connections, understanding, and collective healing. Today, we have a distinguished panel of thought leaders who will guide us in unpacking these critical issues. Together with my co-moderator, we are going to now introduce our distinguished panelists. Over to you, Nancy.
Thank you, Rajendran. I began to introduce a very friend of mine because she's from Argentina. She's Rabbi Silvina Temen. She's a prominent leader in interfaith dialogue and social action, currently serving as the vice rector of the Arbanel University Institute and the senior rabbi at Bethel congregation. She also directs the Center for Dialogue and Social Action at the Marshall Mayer Latin America Rabbinical Seminary in Argentina, where she was ordained in 2006. Rabbi Silvina Temen, welcome to the panel, and I give you the floor.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody from Buenos Aires. Greetings from a rainy, hot summer in Buenos Aires. I'm thrilled, and I want to thank the title of this webinar, Being Human Again, for me, is that inhumanity won the narrative of our days. But I think that we human must be strong enough to gain the narratives of the societies again. Being human again, we continue religions, we continue to spread the message of humanity, of loving our neighbors, of pursuing justice. So I understand that being human again is a call for put a voice, a stronger voice in the social fields to remind the people that we continue being human in spite of this inhumanity that wants to win the mass media, the hate speeches. Because if not, we are giving them our humanity. We are offering them to the inhuman groups of people that are sort of winning now the battle. We are giving them our own humanity. My university studies are on journalism and social communication, so I am very proud to be among journalists, because it's the role of journalism also to put in the news the stories of humanity again, and not only the stories of inhumanity that are repeated so many times that we are losing hope, because we think that the world is only what we see at the news, at the newspapers, at the mass medias, and the social medias. So it is time for the narratives of religions to be part of the agenda of the journalists of the world, because they are responsible also for the public opinion of the people, of the common people, of the common people. And also I'm here because of my friend Nancy. Nancy is a Muslim woman, a friend, and perhaps in this Middle East conflict, sometimes Nancy and me have differences in our opinions, you know, but I understood that when there is a conflict, it's so important to understand where is my fellow, where is her sensibility, why she is posting what she posts, because we are keeping our friendship, the sacred friendship of our own both religions, beyond the differences, and we are trying to understand the point of view of the other. So I am here as a testimony also, Nancy, that in spite of the war, in spite of the ferocity of the things that we are seeing, in spite of the differences in the narratives and the points of view in history, we are here together. We are going to preserve the sacredness of the message of our religions. With this with this introduction, I address this to the questions that we were sent to answer for this webinar. And the first one was, how can religious teachings guide reconciliation in divided societies? And I want to say something a bit provocative. Not only the teachings are going to guide us to reconciliation, we need to act. It's time for religions not only to speak, not only to be in the field of the sermons, of the homiletic field, of the speeches of the leaders. We have to go with our communities to the societies, because each of our religions promote union. We have never promoted division. Never. The basics of our religions promote, pursue reconciliation, forgiveness, being one, oneness. Our God, the oneness of our God, no matter the name, asks us to be one with the other. And religions, let me tell you, are part of the social agenda. Somehow, religions were put aside the social agenda, like that religious people are a special sort of people that are inside their walls, in their sanctuaries, speaking about justice, love, you know? No, we are part of the social agenda. And in this path, the second question was, what practical steps can faith communities take to address social injustice and foster unity? And we have to confess that we have several belongings, right? We are part of a faith community, but also we are part of a neighborhood. We are part of a job group. We have part of a friends group. We have part of a political party, maybe. And the message has to be one. It's not the faith community, something special that speak about loving kindness. Is that the message that our traditions gave us? We were educated in these messages, in these inspirations. We have to take these religious messages to the world, to our other belongings. Nothing to do with being a good Jew, a good Muslim, a good Hindu, a good Christian inside the sanctuaries. Has to do that where we play the role of our religions in the streets, in the stores, in the political discussion. We must take our religions and their messages outdoors. But I have to tell you, any engagement with social issues has to do with a political position. I'm sorry, because not doing is also a political decision. And I understood from my Catholic friends what is to have an incarnated faith, a faith that is part of the body of life. So we have to play an incarnated role of our faiths, involved in daily actions, to put in the public spheres the profound values of our traditions. And when people are telling that there is a conflict between religions, I'm sorry, it's not between religions. It's between people that take advantage of the messages of their religions to play another battle. But it's not the battle of religion. Religions were founded for love. Religions were founded for truth. Religions were founded for union. We have not the right to confuse the narratives. Religions were perhaps taken by some species that are not religious, have another agenda, but this is not ours. How do we cultivate hope in the face of past divisions and ongoing conflicts? I can tell you through my experience that when you act with acts of loving kindness, justice, helping the needy, paying attention to the unattended, paying attention to the worries of your fellow, even when they are not yours, assuming a balanced message, even in a controversial, gives hope. Invite others. Tell the society that there are other ways, because the polarization and the binary position lead us to nowhere. So with the example, the daily example, and taking your communities, big or small, your families, your children, leading these people that are around you to another narrative that has to do with love and loving kindness and responsibility for the others, gives hope to the people, because gives them the possibility of saying there is a path, because this world is taking us to nowhere. Hope for me is to be resistant to the temptation of desperation. We have to insist. This is not the desperation, the only feeling that we are having in these times. There are many important projects, as this webinar, that are taking the people to some other messages. And this is very important to take into account. Hope is not an empty conception. Hope is the real decision of acting in our society. To finish with my presentation, I would say that how interfaith dialogue is bridging historical and cultural differences, always interfaith dialogue led us to the most important and beautiful experiences in the lives of the people, not in the lives of the leaders, in the lives of the people, the common people in our communities that can see that brotherhood, fraternity, and bridges give us an expression of humanity that our own religion cannot give us, because we are complete with the presence of the other. We're complete with the agenda of my fellows, with my sisters, with my brothers of our religions. We're complete when we understand that the expression of God is different in every religion, but also leads us to this enormous sphere of faith, hope, peace. So I am thankful for this opportunity of speaking to you. And I'm hopeful that all the people that are listening to us are going to take their communities also, and we are going to be more than the others that want to take our narratives to their own purposes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rabbi Silvina Shaman, for that very, very inspiring talk. You've really articulated some very, very important concepts, some very, very important solutions. We really appreciate that. Right, we move on to our next panelist, all the way from India. We have Professor Sumati Srinivasalu, who is a adjunct professor of the Department of Anthropology in the University of Madras. Professor Sumati is an accomplished academic in the field of anthropology, currently serving as an adjunct professor in the Department of Anthropology at the University of Madras, India. With a PhD in anthropology from the University of Madras, an MPhil and an MA, Professor Srinivasalu has dedicated a career to teaching and research. With over 3 decades of experience, Professor Srinivasalu continues to contribute significantly to the field of anthropology through her research, teaching, and engagement with the academic community. Throughout her career, she has received numerous awards, including the prestigious Lifetime Achievement in Anthropology awarded by the World Anthropology Congress in 2023. She held numerous and various research fellowships, including roles at Johannes Gutenberg University in Germany and the University of Tours in France, reflecting her international impact and collaboration in the field. Additionally, she was awarded the Fulbright Nehru Visiting Lecturer Fellowship for the years 2010 to 2011. We are extremely blessed to have Professor Sumati Srinivasalu, who will now take the platform. Please unmute.
Sorry. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Dr. Raj. As an anthropologist, I was trying to understand the concept of particularly interfaith, being human, hope for reconciliation, and other interrelated issues through anthropological approach and trying to substantiate with my empirical evidences. The trained researcher, every time I think I should come out with a little bit of conceptual understanding where I started in my own discipline, where this whole component of religion has been very, very deeply taught us and scientifically given us a great understanding about what do we mean by religion. Starting from evolutionist, Taylor has used this concept and strongly said, and the entire anthropological discipline says we don't call it as a religion, we call it as a belief system. And as a trained anthropologist, I was also more comfortable with using the word belief system rather than calling it as quote unquote religion, because the evolved component of structured religion as influenced and with so many factors. But if you could take the concept of belief system, I'm sure you could understand the innate meaning and what they mean by this belief system and how this has emerged. Taylor in 1871 said that this is should be the whole component of belief system has emerged from as a religion, and he called it as animism. It is nothing but anima and the soul, where Chairman was also talking about how this is more concerned to our internal minds, and where soul is very, very relevant in understanding the understanding and and inculcating values, norms, morals, and trying to establish the whole human as trying to maintain that they should be humanistic and continue their everyday life. And in the same structuralist point of view, Marriott and Levi-Strauss, as Durkheim, and everybody has talked about this whole component of religion more in the name of belief system, and strongly said how this belief system was more related with our emotion and intuitive in origin. Marriott said that early human believed that people, animal, objects, and plants possesses certain impersonal and supernatural powers. He proposed the notion of animatism, where Taylor proposed animism, and all these component and concept were highlighting some measures of control system and managing the entire humanity, and consistently insisted how they should be human. So this is so understanding these concepts is very, very relevant in understanding the title of today's webinar meeting. Durkheim was also said in his elementary forms of religious life how this is the development of religion to the emotional security attained through communal living. Clifford Geertz was also talking about how people navigate their existence and call it as religion and call it as belief system by living as a communal living. And Geertz postulates that religion's primary function is to establish and maintain the meaning and order of being human and their existence. So through this conceptual understanding and theoretical understanding, I every time realize, and especially through my intense fieldwork, I have been trying to understand how this whole component of belief system particularly prevail among the vulnerable groups and simple communities. And this is what I really wanted to share it with as a case study with you. Yeah. Here, I would like to substantiate my conceptual and theoretical understanding through two case studies of Tamil Nadu. Case one deals with the issue of interfaith at intrafamilial level and justifies how belief system emotionally connecting the community and taking them in the process of socio-economic and political development. The community taken for my case is known as Nadas. That is the name of the community. Nadar is a community inhabited in southern region of Tamil Nadu. The community is originally called Shanar and classified into scheduled caste untouchables. Their struggle to change their nomenclature as SC category is unique in the history of backward class movement in Tamil Nadu. They legally changed their name to Nadar and collectively erased their derogative identity in the society. The community's socio-economic and political development has been considered as one of the model for other communities in Tamil Nadu. The empirical research among the Nada community resulted in their interreligious, very specifically, I could say, it is between Hindu and Christian marriages within the families prevail, and the family members coexist harmoniously as induced by local wisdom as cultural capital and inheritance. On the other hand, intercaste marriages. I really wanted to differentiate here what I mean as interreligious and what I mean as intercaste marriages are hardly prevalent in southern region of Tamil Nadu. In the interreligious families, the life cycle ceremonies were mostly performed following little tradition, and they all pray their little deities called Sasa and Karupasami. Christmas and Pongal were also celebrated elaborately in the household level. the role of charismatic community leader, their efforts to initiate cooperative system, which is called Uravin Murai, that improved their socio-economic system to the entire community, I could say. All these factors should not be underestimated in creating harmonious development among the Nadar community. It could be well taken as an evidence to justify how religion perceived in everyday life. This is what I was more impressed, if you could see, in their everyday life, religion, the whole concept of belief system played a crucial role and united them one among, and they were moving with each other and sharing their thoughts, sharing the values as human, and the entire community was collaborated with that. The everyday activities of community nurtured peace, compassion, and noble human values propagated among them and supported in their economic growth. Religious identity of an individual was not taken as a competing element in their community living. So this is my first case study where I really wanted to substantiate how this is at a familial level, different religion, both Hindus and Christians in a same family, and how they were celebrating the values of those belief system and celebrate Christmas and all the functions in the familial level. Because we live in India as a family, and the structure of family is very, very strong. And the married sons always live with the parents, and the children, the grandchildren, all they live together. And if they have too many sons, all the wives of the sons live in the same house, and each there are a lot of interreligious marriages do prevail, and religion hardly paid any interference in their peace and compassion, I could say. Coming to my case 2, I'm trying to bring out the paradoxical situation of Dalit converts in India and their legal scuffle. Dalits with the Christian fold is very complex. The most obvious reality was that all arranged marriages, quote unquote, I defined by it, occurring among the Dalit families were endogamous. Dalits marry within Dalits. They don't cross their boundaries. There are about 76 communities notified as scheduled caste communities under the constitutional category of Tamil Nadu, and every community maintain endogamy. So mostly, if you could take almost 90% of our marriages are endogamous. We believe in community, and every community is more comfortable. So again
Professor,
and again, my
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
you can also
we
go.
have 1 minute, to conclude.
I will conclude. Okay, this second case, what I could say is the converts are not eligible to get reservation facilities, and the court of law, Supreme Court, the case is pending for 2 decades. Even today, the case is going on and on, but nothing has come to an end. But at the grassroots level, these converts also have strong interfaith in both the religion and more related with their belief systems and pray their little deities rather than getting into an big concept like religion, and where they are structured and they are not into it. So they are more comfortable with this localized paradoxical belief system. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for showing us an anthropologist's view of these things, for an example very clear for us from Christian and Hindus. So thank you very much,
Thank you,
Professor.
Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much.
I will introduce now the last panelist. His name is Imam Ghazi Aga. He's the director of the Northeast Islamic Community Center and serves as the Imam of the Albanian American Cultural Center in New Jersey. He holds a theology degree from Marmara University in Turkey, a master's degree in interfaith studies from Hartford International University for Religions and Peace in the United States, and a PhD candidate in political science and government from Epoka University in Albania. Thank you, Imam Ghazi, for joining us. I give you the floor.
Hi, everyone. I want to start by salutating everyone who is listening and all our wonderful speakers and organizers. Thanks to Journalists and Writers Foundations for their wonderful work. And thank you to both moderators. It's not easy to follow up Zoom, especially when we talk about religion. It's usually a perfect topic to make you fall asleep. But thanks to our wonderful speakers, we hope to keep you awake. So since part of our discussion is practical steps in daily life, I'm honored to speak here in front of Rabbi Silvina. I had to Google her to be sincere. It's my first time speaking and knowing her, and it's an honor to speak with leaders who have dedicated their life in making religion practical and accepted by all, not just by religious people, but by all. So I have a small presentation just to keep you more engaged, since I don't have the capabilities of Sister Sumathi or Sister Silvina, so I'll try to keep you engaged with pictures instead of words. So these are some practical steps, in my humble opinion. Actually, we have an initiative called the Three Amigos, a priest, imam, and rabbi. It's not a joke prepared for you guys. It's actually what we're trying to do here. So just to go fast. As Rabbi beautifully explained, faith and spirituality is not just something we use in worship places, in church, synagogue, or other mosque or other religious places, but it is a part of our daily life, regardless of your role in society, regardless of your role as a human. Faith is there, spirituality is there. It will help you to become a better human, a better worker, a better father, whatever role you have. So we believe that faith serves as a common foundation that will promote understanding and unite diverse groups, especially nowadays. People expected that by having easier communication, people it will become easier to come together. But we see crises coming in different times in unexpected ways. There is a beautiful verse in Quran where God reminds us that we are all one nation, and that nation is to at least to be unified in something, and that is at least to be unified under our values as humans and under one creator. Regardless how you understand and regardless how you worship that creator, but at least to start building a relationship under common values, and you can start with accepting one creator. There is a saying from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, where he says that Allah shows mercy to those who are merciful to others. So with this vision, this from now on is going to be like practical steps. It's a humble initiative that we took in a state here called Connecticut. It's a small state. It's nearby New York and Massachusetts, Boston, just to have an idea. Where a priest, imam, and rabbi, Rabbi Eric, Monsignor Joe Donnelly, and me, Imam Ghazi, we began collaborating in 2009, so a lot of years ago. And since 2019, we even have a name of our collaboration called the Three Amigos. And basically, we try to put in practice the call of our prophets, the call of our religion, and to make this friendship, this sometimes basic things are the most important ones, even in a relationship with your spouse or with your kids, are not the big actions that will build a good relationship, but are sincere, small daily things that will cement your relation. So the same, we took our sincere relationship with each other, our friendship, we took it to the public space and lectures and community events, and we tried to give an example to our communities, and we believe that the impact of this, at least this is the feedback we give. It's not nice to evaluate our own work, but at least to share the feedback that friendship and dialogue can bridge religious divides and foster community unity. So I'll share some pictures, and I have a short video. Maybe we had dozens and even hundreds of activities together. So we started by having our three first main events as Three Amigos. Was we were at a synagogue, we were at a church, and we were at the mosque, at the jami, at the masjid. For example, this picture here at the left is a picture from our mosque, from our masjid, where we came together as Three Amigos, and hundreds, around 400 or 500 people that were in a mosque, Christians, Muslims, and Jews, and other people. So what we did here, we also brought the three books. I didn't see much of this. I believe that was a unique thing, that it's not just religious people coming together, but even our religious books, and a message that if you are related to your books and to your values, the friendship will become easier. This is Three Amigos since kindergarten, as Rabbi mentioned. This is from the beginning. This is from 2009. So we try to speak in different places, in hospitals and schools, and with journalists, with lawyers, so universities, and we have one thing that we try to do is that not talking just about let's say we are nice and we are kind, but going deeper in our religious understanding on different aspects of life. It's good to use diversity as a mirror, which is one of the best mirrors, even to educate our own selves about our own traditions. I mean, being part of the Albanian community, one of the first feedbacks was from my own community, where people said that we started to learn better our own tradition through learning the differences of others, and we saw how this friendship had an impact on the friendship between members of different communities. So here's a short video. So this is from university, in different places, programs. As you see, I'm the Celtic guy. So we are the handsome, the smart, and the good one. And I told this is from a private high school. More than 600 students were there. Places. And also from high school.
Hello, I'm Joe Donnelly, and I'm a Catholic priest.
Eric Polikoff, and I'm a rabbi.
Gazment Aga, the Imam.
And we
are the Three Amigos.
On Wednesday, May 25th, we'll be leading a day of prayer at Wisdom House in Litchfield, Connecticut.
Join us and learn and support our mission of respect and inclusion.
Selam.
Shalom. Peace. Hello, I'm Joe Donnelly, and I'm a Catholic priest. Hello, I'm Joe Donnelly, and I'm a Catholic priest.
Eric Polikoff, I'm a rabbi.
Gazment Aga, Imam.
On Wednesday, May 25th, at Wisdom House in Litchfield.
We got the three amigos. Oh, we forgot that.
Hi, I'm Joe Donnelly, and I'm a Catholic priest.
Okay, so I'll go first. Normally when it's a tough question,
So,
we
and
just
it
defer to Sister
continues.
Pat.
So we are the handsome, the smart, and the good one. When I explained this to my mother, I asked her, "Who do you think is the handsome one?" And she said, "You are three. You're both handsome. You're smart, and you're nice." So why I'm sharing this, because is this a natural, sincere relationship which I believe it clicked, and people kind of embraced. We try to explain to communities that try to have three amigos in every place. So if you are at a workplace where you have this diversity, try to celebrate that diversity, and try to have friendship and trust, to have a public engagement, community involvement, educational programs, joint service projects, and shared celebrations. So once we have this part of our life, we believe that this will cultivate hope amidst divisions. We know it's not an easy task. We know that from a religious perspective, this is a prophetic action. This is a prophetic initiative, and that's why, as leaders, as far as I read the messages through the Zoom group, we have a lot of leaders who are listening and who are joining us. Who every one of them have stories to share, I'm sure. And so once we start to embrace empathy and promote forgiveness, it will be nice to also support the success stories, because it's unfortunately it's becoming a luxury to have peacemakers. I'll conclude my presentation. Quran calls us to help one another in righteousness. So regardless of our traditions, we should help each other. We shouldn't forget that the best of people are the most beneficial to them, and that we should be pioneers of mercy. So my humble advice would be to go back to the importance of local initiatives, small initiatives. In that case, it becomes a more easy to be digested from local communities. And also ongoing education. We realize that even the most educated people might not know much about the diversities, especially the religious diversities. So never forget the basics of interfaith dialogue, which is to educate each other, to be open to that. So thank you very much. This was my small presentation. I hope I was good with time. I try to make it fast. I don't like.
Thank you.
To be fair, I don't like very long Zooms. And since we're three speakers, thanks for listening.
No, thank you so much, Imam Ghazi Aga. It was an absolutely delightful presentation, very thought-provoking as well. But before I allow people to answer questions and to ask questions on the panel, Imam, are you planning to initiate the three amigas to women religious leaders?
So we actually have a fourth amigo. She's a journalist. I don't know if I shared pictures of her. She's not a religious leader, but she's a journalist. Usually she becomes our moderator. But absolutely yes. We try to we try to explain the importance of this, and there are places where we try to explain how it works and how it can be implemented. So any place where there is a group who would be interested in learning how to start this or how to implement this, we'll be more than happy to collaborate.
Excellent. No, thank you. As long as you're doing that, thank you. Right. So now we're going to have open floor discussion, or should I say, open screen discussion, because this is a virtual platform. So, so let me ask one of the questions, and any one of you can raise your hands and answer. You know, the role of empathy in reconciliation is pivotal, right? Reconciliation often requires us to engage with those who may have different perspective experiences or even conflicts with us. In your experience, dear colleagues, how can empathy be cultivated in interfaith and intercultural dialogues to foster genuine healing and understanding? Rabbi Selvina Shemin, put up her hands first.
Yes, thank you for the question, and thank you to my colleagues of their wonderful presentations. Of course, that empathy is the path from which we arrive to reconciliation, but empathy doesn't come alone. We need to educate empathy. Empathy comes from the knowledge of the other. Empathy comes from the time that you devote to teach your community to have time to know the others, not themselves. And this is a full religious program. I mean, if you are devoted to interreligious dialogue, you have to take time in your own religious community for teaching the religions of the others. And this is how empathy grows in the hearts of the people, because this is the expression of the genuine message of each tradition, to love the other. But to love the other, you have to put another in front of your people. And this other is a completely other. It's not the same that your neighbor, is the completely other. And for this, empathy comes from knowledge.
Excellent. Anyone else? Sumati or Imam?
Yeah. Yes, Raj. Yeah, I'll tell you. I strongly believe, being a community specialist who have been working among the communities, this whole component of empathy is you cannot take it as an independent value and taught at different levels. That's my strong feeling. Because this whole component should be part and parcel of our whole socialization practices, and it should emerge from our familial level, where it should start from that. The whole concept of give and take, sharing, and accepting, quote unquote, others as they are, without putting any discriminative or put them into our superior or inferior. All these components should be looking at things at a social justice and equality and equity and all these concepts. If you could practice it at the family level, and ultimately it will strongly emerge at communal level, which has been substantiated in my Nadar community. They give, they support their own community. This is all because of empathy and accept as they are. And the whole belief system placed a value rather than religion. You have your own faith. I have my own faith. I accept you as you are. And my faith says the same thing, and your faith says the same thing. And this is what I consider it as an empathy, and it is a process, and it will not emerge all of a sudden by taking it as a teaching, Raj. That's my strong feeling, which I've really experienced, especially with the simple communities.
Okay. I think, Nancy, you have a question?
Yes. I have a question for anyone who wants to answer. Beyond dialogue, we just saw an example of dialogue. Beyond dialogue, what practical steps can individuals and communities take to move from mere conversations about reconciliations to tangible actions that promote peace and social harmony? How can we go from the conversation to the action? Maybe, I don't know, Sumati, Ravi.
Nancy, recently I had a wonderful opportunity to work in a very big Volkswagen funded project, which is called Artificial Intelligence for Assessment. And as usual, I've been into the project as a social scientist and community specialist. Here in the whole project, we used a concept called safe space, the concept of safe space, where we have identified a safe space in every country, and we saw how this as dialogues, as you said, no, like really executed, and then coming to consensus and arrive at consensus and go beyond actions, which we have seen. The safe space concept is well evolved in social sciences. It has all started with LGBT community, and now it has been strongly utilized at the community level, and particularly with the influence of technology, we have started using, and ultimately policy making is also coming here. And these safe space give you a wonderful space to go beyond, as you asked, go beyond, and you can capture the quote unquote reality, ground reality you can capture, and based on that, your policies can be formulated and your actions can be taken place, not anywhere else where you collect data and you think that is the reality. The big data are always like you cannot I'm very, very skeptical about those big data, rather than go with this safe space is and through this emerged data, that is the reflection of reality, and that gives you a path to look beyond and where you could get into an action and coming to reconciliation, and the whole process of looking at things alternatively can definitely happen.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very
Imam.
much, Nancy, for that very good question. And actually, maybe that's one of the fruits of all this conversation, is how to take theory to practice. I would say that the need for action from a religious perspective, and I believe this echoes with all traditions, is a call that comes from faith. It's motivated from our religious practices. That's what all prophetic life means to put in practice your values. It's not just knowing and being perfect in information. That way, ChatGPT or Google would be the best religious guys because they know everything. I believe that starting from empathy, that would be the first step of taking action. And active listening is crucial in every relationship. I am a strong advocate of the importance of one-on-one relationship as the foundation of any type of relationship, starting from two people till two communities and even states and countries. So without active listening, without truly understanding the needs, the challenges, the problems, and the humanity of each other, would be impossible to have sincere action, because sometimes, unfortunately, there are some actions taken just for the sake of doing something, which you take that step, you do an activity, but the fruits of it might not be what's desired and what's the goal. So we live in times where shared experiences and storytellings are in fashion. People are using that in different perspectives. We as religious people, we should do storytelling. We should listen the stories. That's why, for example, I am an active participant in Crystal Nacht event, which is a storytelling about the experience of Jews in Europe. Today, it's also important to listen to the stories of Muslims, to the stories of Hindus, to the stories of Jews and everyone else. So from faith to action, if you have faith, I believe definitely that will be transformed to action. What type of action will that be? That is something which is dependent to your level of faith, your level of capability and education. For example, Fethullah Gulen says, even if you would start from scratch and you wouldn't be able to have anything, what would you do? He says, I would restart to invest in education, because he believes in the value of education. So whatever is your strong point, whatever you believe you can give to society, and we try to do this with Three Amigos. Our friendship is our action. That's what we can do. We put it on the table. If someone's action might be investing money, opening an interfaith place, where an interfaith coffee, where people can have a coffee and read a book, then do that. So everyone can do something, and everyone has his own strong points. Just move. Just don't stop, regardless of what happens around. We should start from scratch and doing whatever we believe is good.
Thank you. Excellent. Now we go to our listeners and our viewers that have been sending some brilliant questions, lovely comments, and so on. So first, we will we're traveling the world now. We'll go to Nigeria in Africa, right? From Junaido. He says that he wrote an article that holds the Council of Religious Affairs for our crisis today. He said that today's crisis is held by the Council of Religious Affairs and then he's waiting for the. He has written an invitation to present a document called "The Flood of Ariwa's Blood: Should the Advisory Council on Religious Affairs be blamed, or our ignorance on religion?" Now, basically, what we want to know from this particular articulation, the pertinent question is, we have asked is, what has led us to where we are today? What has led us to where we are today in this diverse world, global world? Anyone? What? Just one pointer. Maybe each one of you can tell us, one pointer each. What has led us to where we are today?
It's a difficult question, because you are not political analysts or Dr. Sumathi is an anthropologist, but let me tell you something that I discovered. In many of our democratic countries, religions were put aside the reality of the political field. No? This is the secular society and the religious primitive expressions of humanity were put aside. And I think that we have to understand that every person has his spiritual questions, his faiths. Sometimes it's a religion, sometimes not. But when you put the spirit aside and you put another issues as the main points of your agenda, you're forgetting something essential. That is the core of our humanity. That it's, again, taking care of the other, being responsible of the other. And I think that, again, and as Imam Ghazi said, some of our fields of steps, Nancy, that you were asking also, it's the field of education. We need to convince, not the convinced people, because for sure, the people that go to the Three Amigos, Imam Ghazi, are convinced. I mean, they are with you. But where are the not convinced people? How we get them? Because perhaps they are not with us because they don't know. because they were educated in a different way. So if we can reach the educational system, I'm telling you, the educational system to train teachers in religion, and it's not to make the schools a religious ones at all, but it's to take care of the spirit of the children, the spirit of the student, the soul of the humanity of the people that are in front of you. If we can make advocacy to teach in the training leaders, religious leaders in another religious, for instance, in a Catholic university, may have a space for teaching Judaism. It's proper to teach the future priests what is a Jew, how a Jew studies, for instance, how a Jew lives his Judaism. I mean, if we can combine education with leadership and childhood, perhaps we are not going to be in the way that we are now.
No, thank you so much. Thank you. It's an very, very thoughtful question. Nancy, I think you have another question from one of the viewers.
I have another question, but it's related to this question, so it's good to say it. It's a question for the audience. Where is humanity right now? It's all darkness and gloom for everyone? Sumati or
Yeah.
Imam? Yeah.
Yeah, starting from, as you rightly pointed out, the question of hope. I always think that we strongly believe that hope is there in the humanity, and it's keep pushing us from one stage to the other. With so much of technology all over the world, and everybody talking about AI and how this is going to replace the human and all that stuff, but still the humanity strongly believes that we have a scope to live, and hence we are moving forward. That's the one thing. And the way do we are at present, Nancy, that's your exact thing. And are we in a dark age, or even in Hinduism it is called the Kali Yuga has come, and where it is going to end, and so much of bad things are happening all over, and the climate has completely changed, and all that. All that I could say is the human has become so individualistic rather than communal. Previously, we lived as a community, and the whole component of empathy, give, take, and has this whole component of modernization and westernization and whatnot has completely has become so self-centered and self-oriented, and every individual has become self-centered and self-programmed. Hardly you could see this sharing of whatever, whether it is empathy, whether it is monetary help, whether it is physical help and support, and no system, and everybody were started living as an individual. And this is, at least I can take it as a caution that we should relook and rethink what our faith has taught us, what our belief system taught us. And unless and until we are into it, I don't think it is easy for us to come or become a human again. That's what I strongly believe when you raise this question. Thank you.
So
Darkness
I
of
believe that
gloom,
one of the
Imam?
one of the biggest values of prophets is that they are examples. So regardless of the situation where people live, regardless of how dark the time might be, they are there steadfast as light, as a source of light, and as an example. So I believe in the power of an example. And even here, we have a lot of leaders, and thinking them as examples where they are is a source of hope. So because as people of faith, our primary goal should be to keep hope alive and to keep good examples alive. In a time of selfishness and where everyone and individualism, we should there is something we can work on because we cannot solve the problems of 8+ billion people. There would be a big initiative. There would be a lot of pessimism in it. but we can work with our families. I believe that if Imam Ghazi's family would be a happy family, community service oriented, with faith and successful in life, trying to do their best. I have two kids. If they are happy, if they're successful, if they're part of society, and people see that, well, look how faith brings happiness to a single small family. This is a good step that everyone can take. Otherwise, I believe it's important to stay away. I'm not saying to be close your eyes and always be nice and be kind, but it's good to find a balance between trying to solve problems and keeping hope. So because our power is limited, our instruments are very limited. As Rabbi Silvina beautifully explained, people who come to Three Amigos, they are the ones who agrees. And we also give we do this joke. It's one of our continuous jokes that if you say Three Amigos will come together for peace, you'll have 200 people. But and actually, we're planning to do this. We'll give an announcement in the newspaper that Three Amigos will fight with each other. In that case, we'll have thousands. So since our capabilities are limited, I believe focusing on practical steps, focusing on hope, and trying to do our best in our local communities would be very helpful for our next generations. Otherwise, if we put too much burden on them, and you say, you know what, the world is done, everyone is fighting, there is not much to do. Our steps are inconsiderable.
No, agreed.
Yeah.
I think we need to focus on the positives in life rather than the darkness and gloom, because we will remain forever dark if we continue just focusing on that. I have a question from Tatiana from Dallas, Texas, right? Who belongs to the Thanksgiving Foundation. He says, what we do not have, if you consider it, is for a few entertaining stories, movies, and series on our World Wide Web that revolve around the positive element of oneness. The majority of people spend so much passive time in front of screens that they are being molded by what they see. Consider what they see. After years as a staff member of the UN, followed by years as a nonprofit leader, at 72, he turned to writing novels to try to reach more people, praying and hoping that one would turn into a movie or be the basis for a series. That's such an interesting and a noble initiative. And I think that will eliminate the darkness. If we provide positive stories for the world to see, and then we will be able to be drivers of getting rid of the inhumanness and becoming human again, with positive matters like this. Nancy, do you have anything?
Yeah. I have a question from a friend from Uganda. He's Hakan Ulus. Maybe he can unmute and tell us the question, because he raised his hand.
Hakan Ulus.
Hakan Ulus.
From Uganda.
Yeah.
Are you there, Hakan?
Maybe it's not now.
Maybe is not there.
No, maybe it's not there. Okay.
Right. In summarizing, just very quick 30-second inputs from each of our panelists, where we can bring this discussion to a logical conclusion before we launch a very, very interesting project. Let's start with Sumati Srinivasulu, all the way from India. Just quick.
Thank you. Parochial belief system is the best form of social institution which connect the communities on everyday basis. It cannot be perceived in dialectic opposition and such perception, it leads to the morals, norms, and customs are very much very much connected with their environment, and practicing it does not require public space. I strongly believe religion should also have a minimal of public space, and belief system should have a more given more importance, and that can lead us to a world of peace and reconciliation. Thank you.
Right. And let's go to Imam.
So peace starts at home. Be happy. Do not fight with your wife or with your husband. That's a very good start of dialogue. Try to find people which you can agree on universal and shared values. Even though you cannot find people which you can agree on universal shared values, there is something even more unified, that is common problems. We all have common problems. Our youth is a common problem. Our health is a common problem. So do interfaith work either based on shared values or either on common problems. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Rabi?
Me. Okay. We need to listen to the voices that are reinterpreting our sources in the path of peace and loving kindness and responsibility for my fellow, for my friend. We have to be strong enough not to get convinced by the speeches that are all around us, because it's part of the logic of the things that want to sell us as the whole humanity. We are part of the humanity. Religions are part of the humanity. Please be strong enough to have your own position and to take from your own faith the best messages that help you to be in peace with you and with the other. This is the only way of being happy. Shalom to everybody.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to ask my colleague Nancy Falcon to round up our discussion for today, and then it will give me an opportunity to launch our very exciting project, which will culminate the rest of the year. Nancy, you'd like to round up?
Thank you, Rajendran. No, I'm very thankful for being here, for being hosting that, also for the opportunity of Journalism and Writer Foundation to be with these wonderful panelists. We heard inspiring examples of how faith communities are working together to bridge divides and foster healing also. Are encouraged also, each of you, to reflect how can we as humans, that we have a community, maybe not, maybe we have a religion, maybe not, how can we contribute to reconciliation in our own communities? We have to continue this conversation, this panel, this webinar beyond today, and work collectively towards unity and healing. I want to thank the audience also for the engagement, for the questions, for the commitment to this crucial dialogue. And I hope to see you in future discussions and panels, webinars, and maybe in presence. I don't know. I give you the floor to Rajendran, because we have a virtual tour to launch that maybe Rajendran knows a little bit more than me. There is an interesting initiative that Journalists and Writer Foundation are launching this year. So thank you very, very much, everyone, the audience and the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy, my co-moderator. And also thank you to our three amigas that we had today. You know, three very interesting amigas. Rabbi Selvina, Chairman, Imam Ghazi, as well as Professor Sumati Srinivasulu, who I consider our amigas for today. Right, so now the virtual tour of faiths, as you can see here, is a very, very interesting project to celebrate the rich tapestry of religious diversity and fostering mutual understanding among communities. As you know, dear colleagues, from all over the world, the Journalists and Writers Foundation, as part of this year's World Interfaith Harmony Week, would like to launch this very exciting project where we are going to identify and open an invitation to different religious groupings all over the world to give us an opportunity of visiting your places of worship through a virtual tour. People may not have an opportunity of going to a church or to a temple or to a mosque or to a synagogue or anywhere. So what we are planning to do is we are going to be inviting religious groupings from all over the world. If you will be able to, give an opportunity for people to visit your place of worship in an electronic format so that people can, press a button and have a very quick tour of a church, mosque, synagogue, or temple. So we are officially launching this project today, right? The project will start from today and it will end on the 1st of September 2025, so that once we get all the inputs and all the tours of different, we will look at it, edit it, put it together in a very nice format so that it will be able to be easily, it will be a very quick tour, not more than 6 minutes, right? A tour of a religion. So we don't want to, have an opportunity of putting something that is too long. And, this virtual tour will give a snippet of a tour, and then the people will decide whether they will go to a mosque, church, and so on to have a greater understanding of the religion. So we officially launched today at this very, very important Interfaith Harmony Week, the virtual tour of faiths. The project submission must be submitted by 1st of September 2025, and thereafter in next year's World Interfaith Harmony Week, we will actually provide the tour for people to gain an insight of different religions. So with that, my task has come to an end. On behalf of both Nancy and I, my co-partner in this very, very important interfaith dialogue, we'd like to thank everybody, and we'd like to now hand over to Journalists and Writers Foundation, who will bring this entire interfaith dialogue to a logical conclusion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Govender, Miss Nancy, and also amazing panel. This has been very, very eye-opening session that we've learned. And I think, we have to be hopeful and we have to think positive. There are so many things, there are so many darkness, but we have to focus on the light to make a positive change. Likewise, during the World Interfaith Harmony Week, which is celebrated through different programs from February 1st to 7th. However, it continues until the end of February. So we have young people. These young people are trying to put together events on interfaith dialogue, intercultural dialogue, bringing voices for peace and justice. So these are amazing young people from Kenya, Nigeria, USA, Uganda, and USA. So they will be talking about interfaith voices for peace and justice, which aims to promote meaningful interfaith dialogue, mutual understanding, collaboration among young leaders from various religious backgrounds around the world. So this panel will explore both local and global challenges, focusing on the peace, justice, and strong institutions, which is in alignment with the Sustainable Development Goal number 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. So this event will be happening next week, again on Wednesday, February 12th at 10 a.m. at the same time. And we share this information with you on the chat box, so you are more than welcome. So the next event that we are organizing is Global Voices for, Global Voices for, we are inviting young people through this Global Youth Voices campaign from different faiths and beliefs to share their personal stories. We talked about stories are important, right? We want to listen and hear about real life stories and experiences. So this campaign invites young people to share their personal stories of interfaith experiences through digital platforms. So we expect participants to create videos or podcasts or written narratives that highlight how interfaith dialogue has inspired understanding, in unity and collaboration in their communities. And the deadline for this campaign is February 21st, which we still have 2 weeks, at least 2 or 3 weeks to go. So young people can share a message, or they can write a poem, read it, or they can, join this campaign in 3 different categories. And then lastly, so once we collect all these messages and videos, on February 26th, 2 weeks from now, at 10 a.m. again, we will have a screening, a webinar with these young people. We will invite them. So we would like to ask them to share stories for 2 or 3 minutes and show their videos. So again, we will share this information with you, and we would like to welcome you. Join us and hear about these wonderful stories, so that we can be hopeful for peace, justice, and reconciliation. So with that, I want to thank again our Interfaith Committee members, Dr. Govender, Ms. Nancy Falcon, and our speakers, Professor Smati, Rabbi Silvina Chemen, and Imam Ghazi Allah, for joining us, sharing all these wonderful experiences, knowledge, and we are so grateful. So until the next event next week, so stay well, be well, and hope to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Govender. We'll meet again. Yeah, thank you, Nancy.
Thank
you.
you.
Yazi, thank you. Love you all.
Thank you. God bless you all.
God bless you.